The Old West in rare. Real pictures, gunslingers, cowboys, and saloons. Miners pose 850 feet underground in the Hubert M. Mine in Nevadaville, Colorado, in 1895, highlighting the difficult working conditions. A bustling street scene in Ouray, Colorado, in 1880, shows covered wagons in a canyon setting. The town, formerly known as Columbia, was renamed Ouray with the opening of a post office that year and later became a major gold mining district. A pioneer family poses in the Three Rivers area near Richardson, New Mexico, circa 1900, showcasing the harsh beauty of the Southwest landscape. A saloon scene in Virginia City, Nevada, in March 1898. Dead-Eye Dick, possibly the man with an eye patch, is shown among friends. A cowboy leads a wagon, carrying heavy equipment across the challenging terrain of the Matador Ranch in Texas in 1908. Jenny Bowe, in a black dress, stands on the balcony of her brothel in Jerome, Arizona, in 1898. This was the second building on this site, the first having burned down in 1897, and this one destroyed by fire in 1898. A third building still exists today. A Winter Ute warrior and his bride pose on horseback near the Green and Winter Rivers in northwestern Utah in 1874. Oglala Lakota Sioux, Chief Tashunka Whitco, Spotted Elk, stands in front of camp tents at Pine Ridge, South Dakota, on January 17, 1891, shortly after the Wounded Knee Massacre. A photograph from 1900 shows the entrance to a brothel in Creede, Colorado, with several people, including the ladies of the night, striking a posed scene outside. 5 Texas Rangers, armed and ready, are shown at the King Ranch in Texas in 1890. In 1901, the people of Deadwood, South Dakota, come together to mark the town's 25th anniversary, a milestone for a community that thrived during the gold rush. A group of hunters displays their game in the Williams Fork River area of northwest Colorado. Routt County at the time became Moffett County in 1911, circa 1899. A wagon train advances through Harney County, Oregon, on the Overland Trail in 1870, illustrating the hardships faced by westward migrants. A wagon train of pioneers pauses for a photograph in the Wyoming Territory in 1875. People pose in front of the Cosmopolitan Hotel under construction in Tombstone, Arizona in 1880. Cowboys relax and drink in a saloon in Dallas, Texas in 1902. In 1898, a young Hopi maiden from Arbe, Arizona, proudly shows off her traditional hairstyle, adorned with beautiful silver jewelry made by skilled Navajo artisans. A large group of cowboys enjoys a meal at the Ox Ranch in what is now Childress County, Texas, in 1886. A rare 1875 photo shows General George Armstrong Custer standing in front of his tent, flanked by 3 Native American scouts during the Yellowstone expedition. Texas Ranger Joseph Walter Durbin poses with his horse in Rio Grande City, Texas, in November 1888. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid are shown at a bar in Utah in 1889. A street scene in the borax mining town of Columbus, Nevada, in the late 1800s shows bustling activity. Captain George Kaiser Sanderson's camp at the Little Bighorn battlefield in Montana in 1879, where he oversaw the burial of soldiers killed 3 years prior. A Cheyenne man with his 2 wives, 2 daughters, and son pose in front of their tent in Montana in 1901. In 1873, a group of armed Coyotero Apache warriors stands proudly near Camp Apache, Arizona, ready for battle in the heart of their homeland. The Pondbrokers, Beware, and I Steal pose in front of their log cabin in Ironton, Colorado in 1886. An early 1900s studio portrait shows a saloon woman from the Old West striking a playful pose as she rolls dice. The postcard's location remains unidentified. Around 1900, a Watkins medicine salesman visits a farm in North Dakota, offering tonics, elixirs, and other products. Bringing with him the promise of healing and new goods, he adds a sense of excitement and hope to the farmers' daily lives. Around 1895, passengers bustle on the busy train platform of the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad in Creede, Colorado, awaiting their next journey. James B. Jim Hawkins, founder of Company D of the Texas Rangers, poses with his weapons in 1875. President Theodore Roosevelt in a carriage during his visit to Wallace, Idaho in 1903. A view of downtown Elkhart, Texas in 1907, showing carriages, pedestrians, and commercial buildings. In 1890, a lively street scene in Santa Fe, New Mexico Territory, showcases bustling mercantile shops, serving both locals and travelers passing through. A Blackfeet woman with a cradleboard and a man with a travois are shown in Glacier National Park, Montana, between 1912 and 1915. Former Crow Scouts visit the site of the Battle of Little Bighorn in 1908. A street scene in Santa Fe, New Mexico in 1890, showing adobe buildings, wagons, and pedestrians. Around 1900, a portrait of a woman of the night in a brothel in Saltese, Montana, captures the mystery and resilience that defined these figures in the Old West. Texas Rangers under Captain Dan Roberts are shown camped near Fort Mavett in Menard County, Texas, in 1878. In 1880, people gather in front of the Mono County Bank in Bodie, California, at the height of the town's mining boom. A street scene in Rawhide, Nevada, in 1908, shows wagons and early automobiles amidst the gold and silver rush. Stagecoaches meet on the road between Tonopah and Sodaville, Nevada, circa 1903. Three women pose on a street in Marshall, Texas, in 1899. A somber reminder of the Circleville Massacre in Utah, where pioneers killed at least 30 Paiute people in 1866. A prostitute in lingerie plays billiards with a client in an Arizona brothel, early 1900s. Around 1890, people gather around the iconic Stonewall carriage in Trinidad, Colorado, preparing to set off on a journey along the region's rough, rugged roads. Two hunters pose with deer carcasses near a hunting cabin in the Old West, circa 1890. A settler family poses in front of their tent in the Three Rivers Range, New Mexico, in 1908. A mule team and covered wagon are shown on a street in Deadwood, South Dakota, in 1890. A Blackfoot woman and child are shown with a travois in Montana, 1896. A family poses on their farm near Devil's Lake, North Dakota, in 1900 with their livestock. Early miners pose in front of their cabins in Leadville, Colorado, during the Silver Rush of 1879. Cowboys tend cattle on a ranch in Modoc County, California, in 1890. A blacksmith is also shown. A man carves a cross to mark the grave of Lieutenant John Jordan Crittenden III at the Little Bighorn battlefield in 1876. Two women pose in front of Wyatt Earp's Northern Saloon in Tonopah, Nevada, in 1902. A group of Apache Indians pose in front of their huts in the American West in 1909. A wagon train crosses the Platte River in Nebraska on the Oregon Trail, circa 1870. A view of the main street of Kingston, New Mexico, in 1909. a Southern Pacific handcar on the Colorado River Bridge in Yuma, Arizona in 1880. Locomotive 197 pulls a passenger train near Pitkin, Colorado in 1895. A street scene in Elkhart, Texas in 1916 shows wagons, pedestrians, and commercial activity. Four Adena warriors on horseback gaze toward a distant valley in Montana, circa 1908. A Paiute family poses in front of their cattail reed house near Fallon, Nevada, circa 1907. A pioneer family rests beside their covered wagon in the Three Rivers Range, New Mexico, in 1908. A family poses with hunting trophies in front of their home in Cloud County, Washington, in 1909. Delia Albert, a Tolowa woman, poses in a blend of traditional and Western attire in California, 1890. A street scene on Commerce Street in San Antonio, Texas, in 1892, shows street vendors and bustling activity. Major Pease's Ranch on the Yellowstone River in Montana, 1872. A wagon train camps in Otero Valley, Colorado, in 1890. An Old West prostitute prepares for work, circa 1900. A prostitute poses in a brothel in the Old West, circa 1880. Redwood logs are loaded onto a train in Eureka, California in 1909. A street scene in Elkhart, Texas in 1870, showing wooden buildings and activity. Blackfeet Indians on horseback in Glacier National Park, Montana, circa 1900. A pioneer family poses with their wagons along the Oregon Trail in the Rocky Mountain foothills, 1890. Coal miners pose in front of their cabin in the Colorado coal fields, circa 1900. A tintype of James Butler Hickok at age 21 in Lawrence, Kansas in 1858. In 1883, a Native American family poses with their carts in western North Dakota, capturing a moment of their daily life and connection to the land. Gordon Pony Lilly and his wife, May Lilly, pose in Wild West attire, circa 1890. A photo of Dominic John O'Malley, cowboy poet, 1896. Cowboys and horses at a water tank in Dodge City, Kansas, circa 1900. A street scene at Fireman's Block in Austin, Nevada, circa 1880. Five Apache Scouts pose at Fort Bayard, New Mexico, circa 1884. Ladies of the Night and a pianist in a Cheyenne, Wyoming brothel, late 19th century. The Mole Saloon in Ripon, Wisconsin, in 1894. A festive street scene in Helena, Montana, during an Independence Day parade in 1889. Patrons in a Wyoming saloon, circa 1880, aim guns at a man's feet to make him dance. A celebratory scene on Main Street in Goldfield, Nevada, in 1905. Miners on their lunch break in Butte, Montana, in 1905. A train in Eureka, Nevada, in 1890. Crow tribe members ride across the Little Bighorn River in Montana, 1906. Calamity Jane at Wild Bill Hickok's grave in Deadwood, 1890. People pose in front of the Vienna Laundry in Leadville, Colorado, late 19th century. The Tollgate Saloon in Black Hawk, Colorado, in 1897. An Old West prostitute poses in front of a Victorian backdrop in Colorado, circa 1900. The first commercial establishment in Goldfield, Nevada, in October 1908. Texas Rangers at Savage Ranch near Rialtos, Texas, circa 1888. Cowboys brand cattle on a Texas ranch, circa 1900. Cavalry soldiers at Fort Keogh, Montana, circa 1889. A man and boy deliver water using a donkey in Graterville, Arizona, 1902. A Sioux War Council in California, 1891. A photograph taken outside Michigan Carbon Works in 1892 depicts a massive pile of bison skulls, a stark visual representation of the near extinction of the American bison due to overhunting. Butch Cassidy's life of crime, his association with the Wild Bunch Gang, and the mystery surrounding his death in South America. A photograph of Navajo people near Old Fort Defiance, New Mexico, in 1873, showcasing their farming and weaving skills. A description of the Dakota War of 1862, highlighting the violence and displacement it caused. Jesse James's life and death, focusing on his role in the James Younger Gang and his complex legacy. Photographs of the deceased William Brazen Bill Brazelton, a stagecoach robber, are shown. One photo shows him wearing the mask he used during robberies. The other shows his face. His belongings, including weapons and stolen goods, are also pictured. Billy the Kid's life, including his involvement in the Lincoln County War, his multiple jailbreaks, and his death at the hands of Sheriff Pat Garrett. The story of Rose Dunn, her relationship with George Newcomb, and her alleged role in his death. A photograph of Chinese field hands working in California, 1898, highlighting their contributions to the state's economy, often overlooked in historical narratives. A photograph captures a massive sandstorm engulfing the small town of Midland, Texas, on February 20th, 1894, highlighting the power of nature and the vulnerability of the residents. Two figures are visible walking towards what appears to be shelter. This photograph of Olive Oat Man, who was abducted by Native Americans as a child, showcases the distinctive tattoos on her face. It underscores the harrowing brutality of her capture and offers a glimpse into the challenges of her later life. A description of the Apache spirit dance, its significance, and its enduring presence in Apache culture. The life and death of Big Nose George, and the bizarre handling of his body parts by Dr. John Eugene Osborne after his death. Belle Starr's life, highlighting her role as an outlaw and a woman who defied societal norms. Laura Bullion's mugshot from 1893, taken by Pinkerton detectives. Her criminal life and eventual attempts at a law-abiding life are summarized. A photograph of cowboys relaxing in a saloon in Old Tascosa, Texas, in 1907, emphasizing the saloon as a central location for social interaction and business dealings. A photograph of Jimmy McKinn Santiago, a young boy kidnapped by the Apache, who chose to stay with his captors after his rescue. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the rest of the series for more intriguing stories from the past. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Who remembers? With friends who love history. As always, thank you so much for watching.